Okay, we're finally going to picks and bans for team. I have no idea. Team GAM Kids versus team. I have no idea. Team something. And Thomas Williams team versus Sungwon's team. I only know some of the names of the people here on the blue side. We have Noctiluca. I don't know how to pronounce his name, and I don't even know who he is in real life. We have Damon Frog, who is Liam Guy in S5, Jack Slacks, who is James Lyons in S6, B10 H, who I believe is Thomas Williams in S6, and Deceptively Bad, which is George Chang. On the purple side, we have Hellreeker, Ilya Crane in S5, X Nevermore, Daniel Liu in S5, The Shizzle, which is Evan Chang in S5, The Real African, which is Sungwon Chung in S5, and The African Cop, which is Edward Kim in S5. So looking at the picks and bans, we have Caitlyn banned for the blue side. That is probably targeting Evan. Elise on purple side, I have no idea who targeting, possibly George. Jace on the blue side targeting, I actually don't know who plays Jace on the purple side. A Mumu banned, that's just a jungler with a very strong area of effect, and almost anyone can play him, so he has a very big map presence. Lee Sin banned, that would be probably a ban in jungle Lee Sin, which they might be scared of because he does have very strong gank presence early in the game with his resonating strike. And Thresh banned, which is a very strong support. A very strong support with his lantern and his hook, which can both stun enemies and pull him towards them. So we're going to look at the first ban now, and first pick now, and it looks like it is going to be Zac for the blue side, and that's probably going to be a Zac jungle. Zac's main strength in the jungle is that he has his W, which is a very, very long leap. The longest in the game, has the possibility to jump over double walls and jump over wards, making him one of the best gankers in the game and very hard to predict. Zac also does not have that much damage, but he can become very, very tanky with his build, normally revolving around haunting guys and I believe Locket. I am not too sure about that. I do not play Zac myself. Oh, they're actually going to switch last minute to Nasus. Nasus has some decent jungle presence, clears decently fast, especially when he gets more points into that Spirit Fire. His ganks with Wither are quite nice, and his ultimate does give him % damage, so it gives him very strong Dragon and Baron presence. Meanwhile, purple side hovering over that Syndra as one of their first picks. Syndra is a mid that we don't see too often, but she does have her strength, namely her area of effect stun with, I believe, her W and her E. Sorry, just her W, I believe, which launches her orbs, and any person that it's hit is stunned for a brief duration. And looks like they're going to pick up that Tark too. Tark is a support that you really can't go wrong with his targeted stun. It's very hard to avoid, and he does have that armor buff, so if you're facing a team that has a lot of tanky DPS, he is very strong because he gives his entire team armor. And they are going to lock in actually a Hecarim instead. Hecarim has had a couple of nerfs recently, but he's still very strong. He really scales well into the late game with his just very strong sustained damage and his W, which heals for a very large amount later in the game. Hecarim's, so we're going to have to see how that works out. Meanwhile, back onto the blue side, Damon Frog just going through a couple of champions. I'm not too sure what role he plays. I believe it is the AD carry, but I thought they were going to change that last second. I'm not too sure about that. Looking for the Ezreal. It might be an Ezreal Sona, and they are going to lock in the Ezreal, which means they might lock in the Sona too. Ezreal Sona is a very poke-heavy lane. Ezreal does have those long-range abilities that if they hit will do a decent amount of damage, and Sona can heal Ezreal and provide him mana, and he can just keep throwing out those spells, and he would be kind of hard to push out of the lane. Not the strongest pick against Tark, because Tark does give that armor buff and has a heal on his own. Normally you pick Ezreal against some sort of non-sustain lane and sort of squishy lane, and since purple side has not revealed their AD carry yet, it might not be the best pick. Looks like the Shizzle looking on Misfortune. Shizzle's Misfortune is not the best in the world, but Misfortune Tark is a very deadly combo. Misfortune does have her W passive known as, I believe, I'm actually Impure Shots? I have no idea actually. But basically, the passive on her W is that once she auto-attacks a champion several times, there's a stacking damage added onto them. So first hit will do 6 extra damage, and after that 12 extra damage to maximum, say something like 24 extra damage. So with that Tarek stun, you can see that Misfortune will be able to get an extra 3 auto, like say get 3 auto attacks in a row, and because of that, that will be a very large amount of damage done onto the enemies such as Ezreal or Soraka. Misfortune also a very strong. Competing switch up. Misfortune also a very strong pick against Soraka because of her healing debuff. Oh, what are you doing? I'm sorry, I'll have to fix out this moderator problem later. Anyways, Shen also being picked up has a very good map presence in the top lane. He can ult to any of their lanes, giving them a very nice shield, which could turn the tides of a fight. And meanwhile, back on the blue side, they're picking up Jax and Orianna. Jax looks like he's going to be taking a teleport, which means he will be able to counter that Shen's map presence with his own teleport. It's a bit slower, but it will it will do. And Orianna pick up with a very nice AoE AoE ultimate. Orianna has very decent damage, but more importantly has a very large amount of utility with her ball giving map vision, as well as the ball giving a shield, having a slow, a speed up, and an area of effect knockup. Basta? Yeah, I did it. Okay, so second team, final pick for, I believe, Edward, the African cop who is playing middle, is Xerath. Xerath versus Orianna, it's going to be quite an interesting matchup. I don't really know too much about it. Both of them have very decent poke. If Xerath can land the stun, he can potentially full to 0 Orianna. But the same can be said for Orianna, as Xerath is not the tankiest champion in the world. And with a nice catch with the QW, and then finally followed by the ult, Xerath will probably go down. Yes. Liam. Some random guy who I don't know his name. Some is some Daniel Rude Edward. And Evan. Okay, so we're now going into the game, I believe. We have Nasus, Ezreal, Soraka, Jax, and Orianna versus Tarek, Hecarim. Oh no, we still have the 3-minute wait time. Oh my god. Whatever. Tarek, Hecarim, Misfortune, Shen, and Xerath. Looking for the level 1 strategies. I don't believe that blue side will be able to fight that level 1. They do have decent long-range scouting from Ezreal and Orianna, which means they will be able to see if they play it right and invade from the purple side. But I don't think they will have much that they can do to counter it. Meanwhile, purple side does have that Tarek, which is targeted stun. Once he uses that E on you, there's not much you can do to escape. Misfortune also has a very large amount of damage in the early levels. Shen has an area of effect taunt, and Xerath, of course, has his area of effect poke, which doesn't do too much at the early levels, but it is still slightly better than Orianna's, as her area of effect is a bit smaller. So, cleanse picked up by both AD carries. Not too sure about the cleanse on Misfortune's part. I guess she doesn't want to get slowed by the Nasus, but that is only the real thing that she can cleanse. Of course, Orianna does not have any area of effect. Has any crowd control that you can cleanse with an area of effect and sort of a slow that only exists if you're in the area. Jax has a 1-second stun, and Soraka has silence, which isn't that important for AD carries. Meanwhile, Ezreal with the cleanse, quite useful due to the Shen taunt, the Tarek stun, the Hecarim fear, and the Xerath stun. Ezreal is a very mobile champion with his E Essence Flux, which is actually a very short cooldown spell if you hit the Q several times in a fight. So he will be jumping around, and he will be very hard to lock down should he play his champion correctly. Meanwhile, for the most part, we have Ghost on both junglers. Normally, the go-to spell is Flash, but Nasus and Hecarim are both very sustained damage junglers, and they really like sticking on their target. Not to mention that Hecarim also has his passive, which does give him increased attack damage based on his bonus movement speed. So that Ghost will give him some extra movement speed, and therefore will give him some extra damage to his ganks. Yeah, exhaust taken by both supports is now. If we look at the higher level games, we do see Ignite taken on some supports. Maybe not Tark and Sona, those have sort of fallen, as Tark and Soraka, sorry, those have sort of fallen out of favor. When we see something like, say, a Lulu or Sona or a Leona, we see that Ignite being picked up for that extra kill potential, as people like having that extra healing reduction and damage in bot lane. But Miss Fortune does have already her healing reduction, so maybe that's not needed. And as we said, Ezreal Soraka is kind of a passive lane, so perhaps they won't be looking for the kill that much. So 10 more seconds in the game, and we're gonna see how it's gonna go. Let's see if any side are gonna go for the invade. I believe it's a best of 3, so teams might play a bit more risky than they normally would. We will have to see about that. And yeah, we're just loading into the game now. Hopefully. If you do hear background noise or the stream is a bit slow, I apologize, and I will try to fix that as fast as I can. Well, I can't do much about the background noise, but I can try to fix the stream. If it's freezing, I guess I can try to fix that. I won't be able to really fix the much else though, so I will try my best. So we already see Thomas Williams with 700 ping. That is definitely not that's definitely not optimal for playing this kind of game. Jax isn't somebody who has any skill shots, so it won't be as bad as, say, if it was Ezreal with that amount of ping, but it is still very inconvenient nonetheless, as having such amount of a delay does make it very hard to play. Against skins, we see Pharaoh Nasus, Nottingham Ezreal, and Bladecraft Orianna on the blue side, and we see only Mafia Misfortune on the purple side, but I still would say that purple side has the skin advantage, just because that Mafia Misfortune is a far superior skin than any on the other side. But maybe I just have a little bias, because that is one of my favorite skins. Looking at the banners, we see 4 silver and 1 unranked on the blue side, and then afterwards we see 1 gold, 2 silver, and 2 unranked on the purple side. So that doesn't really show much. For example, Ilya does not. Hellreeker does not play any ranked, and I don't know about Jaxlax. That might be true too. Edward, the African cop, I know plays a lot of ranked, and he kind of deserves the banner that he has now. But other than that, I'm not too sure about how much the other people play, so we're gonna have to see how it pulls off, how it goes. Okay, so here we go. We're into the game. Looking at the buys, we see teams are just picking up their items, some faster than others. For the purple side, it looks like they are all done buying. Standard support items coming out of Tarek, having that little bit of mana regen. 2 pots, I believe 2 wards, and a pink ward, so that's going to give him just a very nice balance. I don't know how loud this is, sorry, I think this was loud, a bit too loud last time. Alright, there we go. And Hecarim, we see the standard machete and 5 pots. There's not really much else you can go on junglers these days. These days, though, we do occasionally see the red pot, the elixir fortitude and 6 pots on some junglers such as Vi.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
Misfortune, starting off with the Doran's Blade. Kind of a risky start, going for the very high damage early on. She does have that Taric heal, but it is not a lot. If she is running life steal quintessences, then it might pay off. Shen starting with the Elixir Fortitude, 4 pots and a ward. That's pretty standard for top lanes, and Zera starting with the Meki Pendant. Seems like 4 health pots, 2 blue pots, and a ward. No side really invading, just guarding their sides.
Minions have spawned.
The ball scouting for vision, and we'd see Ezreal and Soraka heading to bot lane. Nasus meanwhile gonna go do his wolves. Hecarim gonna do his wolves. On the blue side, we do notice that Ezreal has a longsword and the biscuit and a pot, so he went really deep into that utility tree for that extra bit of laning presence in probably some trade-off for some damage or tankiness. It looks like they're not able to do these double golems, or they sort of have some miscommunication, as Soraka is taking a lot of damage. Meanwhile, purple side is taking down the golem for Hecarim. He's not going to burn his smite on that, and he's going to clear that rather quickly. Blue side still trying to kill the double golem. Soraka is falling dangerously low, and she is going to go back, as Ezreal is going to have to go to lane by himself. He does have that range, so he will not be zoned out completely, but if purple team gets a sense of what's up, they will be able to zone him out. They will be able to possibly take advantage of this quite heavily. So, also we have the double fairy charm, I believe, on Orianna mid. She looking to spam those abilities very early and not having the benefit of that ward. Possibly not too scared of the Hecarim ganks early on, which might be a mistake, but we'll see how that turns out. So mainly lane's just farming it out. Nasus is going to clear his red buff and looks like he's going to go back to his wraiths. Meanwhile, Hecarim is at his red. Meanwhile, down bottom lane, they are getting pushed. Soraka has returned back to lane, but is still level 1. Misfortune with that strut can poke in and out very easily to hit those auto attacks, and we already see each auto attack doing quite a bit of damage on that Ezreal. Top lane, oh, we see a gank by Hecarim. Can they get this kill? No, unfortunately not. It looks like Shen used his taunt early, and they just didn't have enough damage early on. But looks like Hecarim is going to stay here. He's going to come back for another kill. This is kind of risky for Jax, as he does not have vision. He's not going to pop any of his pots, it looks like, which is quite interesting. He doesn't have a point in leap strike either, so he will not be able to leap to his minions. 2 points in empower. Hecarim is waiting. There he's going to go in. There's a nice taunt by the real African, and as like Hecarim's going to knock him back. Oh, but Jax with the stun is going to make it out alive, and that is going to be a bit unfortunate. And Jax is going to head back, and no kill coming out of that. Nasus meanwhile going to go cover top, while Hecarim is going to go back to his jungle. Bot lane, they are going to be pushing to the tower a bit more. Ezreal doing okay farming under the tower with that Doran's Blade. He shouldn't miss too much farm, but it is a bit harder to farm under the tower because of the damage that it deals. Mid lane, we see we have African Cop and Deceptively Bad not really duking it out. Not a lot of poke going down. They both sit at full mana, so not really using that mana that much. They probably just want to go for the farm. Looking at the farm, it's around pretty even on most of the lanes, except for really top lane, where it seems like Shen has gotten that advantage due to that early gank. Couple things coming out top. Might be pinging that Hecarim was Nasus nearby, but apparently not. A ward has gone out into that top lane so that they will be able to see Hecarim if he comes again. Hecarim now looks like he's gonna head around middle looking for that kill. He's gonna there he is, he's gonna activate the speed boost. As we already know, Orianna did not start with that ward early on, but there's not enough damage. He's just gonna burn that flash and he will get out safely. Pretty standard start. Hecarim looking to see if he can take anything from Nasus' jungle, but he's not going to see anything. Meanwhile, back in bot lane, they're still farming it out. Both sides at around full health, and Misfortune winning by 10 CS, which is quite decent early on in this early in this game. As once Misfortune has an advantage, she can press it very easily with that high amount of damage that she has. But they're not looking to play too aggressively. Tarek staying a bit further in the back. just healing when he needs to. Xerath now missing a stun. But that's okay, as this, as I already said, this lane is not really meant for a large amount of trading. Looks like Hecarim's gonna head up top while Shen is going to taunt backwards, and he is gonna back, so Hecarim is just gonna take a bit of experience while making sure that Shen's tower does not get pushed down. Nasus in bot lane for a bit, but he's just gonna walk on out. We see this ward down in tower. Oh, and actually, sorry, Hecarim's going in on Jax, but not a lot of damage being dealt there. Hecarim does not have that much damage on his own early on. Nasus, meanwhile, coming in for another gank in bot lane. He's going to put down the Wither on Taric, but he is tanky. Can they get the kill on that? They don't have the Ignite bot lane, so they won't be able to do that. And looks like both Ezreal and Soraka are going to take a tower hit each, and that will actually put them down to a lot lower than they want to be. So Taric gonna go back. He lost his exhaust, but still has his flash up. They do not have any ward coverage of this area because of this pink ward here, and they have another ward here. So that Nasus can waltz in pretty safely without the purple side knowing. They will have to get another ward down there. But if they do place a normal ward within range of that purple ward, it will be taken down, and waste of 75 gold. Hecarim gone back now. He's gonna pick up a Spirit Stone. Hecarim doesn't benefit that much from the Magic's Razor and prefers to have the Blessing of the Lizard Elder, which is one of his core items. Taric has a Philo Stone, and Misfortune has a Vamp Scepter, so she will stay in lane quite easier. Shen with the Giant's Belt probably rushing his way to the Sunfire Cape. Deal a bit of extra damage as some of his abilities do scale off his health. And Nasus is also picking up that Spirit Stone for the same reason. Oh, and a bit of aggression up top, but nothing's gonna come out of that. And we see Orianna with the Chalice probably rushing the Unholy Grail, which does give which gives magic resistance, ability power, and cooldown reduction. All stats which Orianna desperately needs. Blue buff going to Xerath now, while Nasus over to his own blue and gonna give it to Orianna. Nothing special there. Hecarim heading down bot lane, but he is going to be spotted by that ward. Taric trying to take bush control, but there is that ward in that bush, so they will be able to see him the whole time. They're trying to poke onto him a bit. That's kind of a risky move, but Soraka is just going to flash out of that, and overall, nothing traded there. They will burn the flash, so if Hecarim chooses to come again, that will be a kill. Top lane, Shen getting bullied quite hard. He does not have any health pods, so he can't stay in lane that well, even though he does have the Q on his effect, which makes him heal a bit of health every time he attacks a minion that his Q is active on. Hecarim going on for another kill on Soraka. She does not have flash this time. Misfortune going for that damage that will reduce any heals, and there we go. First blood to purple side, going on the Hecarim now, which isn't that bad. Probably more ideally put onto Misfortune, but she does get the assist gold, which does give her, I believe, 200 gold for the first blood. So not bad. Not that bad, as Misfortune still will still be slightly ahead of the Ezreal. Hecarim now going to mid now. Orianna still does not have her flash, and there's the ult by Hecarim, and Orianna is going to ult, but it's only going to hit Xerath, and that's going to be another kill for the purple side. Back-to-back kills very quickly, and it's already going to be a 2-0 score before 10 minutes. Hecarim going to go back. He is 101, and he's going to pick up the Boots of Swiftness, giving him a lot of movement speed and therefore a lot of map presence, and therefore also a bit of extra damage. Xerath not and Xerath getting the kill mid lane. I believe he is going to go back, and we're going to see what he's going to pick up later. Shen also having gone back. He picked the boots, 4 pots, and a ward, so he's going to stay in that lane for a while. Soraka looking around the ward, they do spot her out, so maybe they're going to go cut her off. Yes, we see Taric and Misfortune both going to go on one side. Soraka's just going to run, and Hecarim, oh, where is he going? He is a bit of miscommunication thinking that she would go back. Soraka's still going to get caught out, does not see Hecarim in that bush, and that is just a lot of damage being put out. Misfortune does not have flash up, but she does have her ult, and was she going to ult over the wall for that damage? Taric is going to flash over the wall, and there's the ult by Misfortune over the wall, and that's going to be 3-0. This Hecarim really just showing his map presence, ganking bot twice and mid lane once. And we'll have the team. Meanwhile, Nasus is gonna walk down. That is not too safe, but I guess they have confidence in their team as Orianna is nearby. Ezreal meanwhile, going back to farming bottom. Top lane still battling with each other. Relatively even lane. Jax has that Doran's Blade, Cloth Armor, and Boots. Cloth Armor maybe not the greatest pickup as Shen does A lot of magic damage. But maybe he's working up his way up to the ninja tabis. We'll have to see. Hecarim going around. Looks like he might go to bot lane again. Trying to pick up a kill. Actually trying to look for the red buff, but it is not up yet. That'll be up in probably around another 3 minutes. They're gonna ping out Orianna. Xerath is gonna hit the stun, and Hecarim's now gonna walk his way in. There's Xerath with the ult, and Orianna's gonna just flash out of that, and she will be safe. You know, Shen just farming out top. Shen is level 6, so he can ult to other lanes and give his teams the shield should they be in trouble. Nasus, meanwhile, taking out the pink ward on the dragon. They could actually do that dragon with the Nasus ult, but that is something that we don't see that much in this level. Oh, sorry, Orianna has taken a bit more damage from Xerath. If he gets stunned, that will be death. Xerath does his flash up, so that would be a kill, but looks like he's just going to play passively. Hecarim hanging up top, he's going to have the ult, it's going to hit Jax. Jax is going to flash out, but Shen has his flash up too. There comes the wish from Soraka, and Shen could have flash taunted that, but he decides that he's not going to go for that either. And Jax is going to make it out safely. You know, Nasus heading by, he's going to throw down the Spirit Fire and going to put the Wither onto Miss Fortune. She's going to cleanse it rather late, and Tark is going to put down the Exhaust onto Ezreal. So, not much ability to kill there if Ezreal is exhausted. That does reduce damage by, I believe, 50% and damage by 30% and attack speed by 50%. So Miss Fortune is going to make it out rather safely. Has the BF sword compared to Ezreal, who still has not gone back, but yet. One of the problems we do see from some players is that they don't go back just because they have high enough health, and because of that they're going to miss a lot more farm because they have a lot less presence in the lane. Ezreal is actually finally going to back now. He has quite a bit of gold in his pocket. We see actually 2.5k gold, so he's going to be able to pick something up. He's going to pick up boots and a vamp scepter, and that's it. He's waiting for gold for something. Doesn't have enough for the BF sword. Should have probably skipped out the boots in my opinion, as boots are not as needed as they used to be, especially on Ezreal since he has the Essence Flux. Orianna trying to play a bit aggressively onto Xerath. She does have that Q on a very short cooldown, which offers a lot of poke. A ping going out to the purple side blue buff as they are. Hecarim is going to head over to it and probably give it to Nasus. Sorry, give it over to Xerath. Nasus on his own blue buff and is probably going to give it over to Orianna. You know, Sen just taunting away from Jax, doesn't really want to fight that. Jax is one of the best duelists in the game, so we do not, nobody really wants to fight him, even Shen, who's one of the tankiest champions. You know, back in bot lane, Ezreal seems to have on Berserker Greaves instead, so he's gonna go for mainly the long drawn out trades instead of those Q pokes and the ultimate. Hecarim just going on to Orianna by himself. Hecarim is one of those champions that has enough damage now due to the Spirit of the Elder Lizard to actually sort of duel most champions on the blue side by himself, and if he had his laner with him, that most surely would have been a kill as Orianna's flash was down. But he's just gonna go back, he's gonna do his red buff plus the Spirit of the Elder Lizard does do a lot of true damage. Top lane, Jax is going to be pushed up and he does not have ward coverage, so we'll see if Hecarim goes there. Ping's going out bot lane as Nasus is approaching, but it seems like Miss Fortune with that strut will be able to walk out rather quickly, or rather easily. Hecarim heading up top now. Does he have his ult up? Yes, he does. He's just going to knock away Jax mid-strike. There's the Ignite coming down and the taunt, and that's going to be an easy kill. Hecarim now 202, showing himself in every single lane, and the score is 0-4 for the purple side. 3k gold lead. Meanwhile, blue side though is going to go for the dragon. Nasus could have popped his ult here and they would have been able to do it much faster, but it looks like it might not, as they do not have the jungler there. Miss Fortune's going to try to pop her ult to do a bit of damage, but they're all going to walk out. Meanwhile, Shen ulting onto Xerath to try to keep him alive. Orianna with the ult is going to take down Xerath. Meanwhile, Shen is trying to dive onto the other team. Hecarim's there too now, but looks like everyone's trying to get out. Looks like Nasus is actually going on to Nasus is going on Miss Fortune. He should be fine. Nasus now actually chased himself out of position. They did manage to get Orianna earlier. Nasus is going to try to pop his ghost, but it's going to be hit by the Shen taunt, and that's going to be another kill to Miss Fortune. And the Ezreal ult coming out, but it's not going to do enough damage. And Miss Fortune probably going to go back now. Probably going to pick up the Bloodthirster. Does add a lot of damage onto her ultimate and her double up. Miss Fortune is sort of a caster AD carry, but does have a lot of damage. So actually not gonna go back yet. Yeah, it's just gonna clear out bot lane, probably push the tower a bit. Hecarim meanwhile did steal the red buff for the blue side, so Nasus is not gonna have that when he spawns. Tarek and Hecarim are just sort of camping this bush. No, Hecarim is gonna go back, not gonna go for a cheeky kill. Just gonna go back, pick himself up. No, he's actually gonna stay in the bush, so we're gonna see what he's going to do. Possibly waiting for, yes, gonna wait for the Orianna. Oh, they're not gonna go for that kill. He's just gonna run actually for the Soraka. And yeah. So I'm still going about in the jungle. Misfortune with 1700 gold is gonna go back. Most definitely going to pick up that Bloodthirster. Tarek meanwhile walking around, putting that pink ward in the bush to make sure the enemy side doesn't ward it, and that will be an easy place for Hecarim to go for a kill. Tarek with that Sightstone and the Philistone, which does give him a lot of sort of free gold. Soraka with the same items. And the supports are pretty even right now. Nasus does have that Kindle gem, so he's going to be looking for that Locket. Possibly the Shirley, so I'm not too sure what Nasus is build. Jack's farming top now, and Shen just pushing out. Shen has gone to a point where he has a Sunfire Cape, so he will split push rather easily, and he is very hard to deal with because Sunfire Cape does do more damage than you would think. If you have those long engagements, it's around I think 35 damage per second, or is it 40 now? It is 40 magic damage per second. So over time, it does actually add up. So Jax does not so easy to trade with Shen now for Jax. Yeah, but he can still stay in the lane and he can farm. Nasus now going behind Xerath. He's kind of overextended. Xerath is going to get the stun on Orianna, so she will not be able to follow up. But the Wither is strong, and Orianna is actually going to be able to catch up. There's the shield, and there's the ult onto Xerath, and that's going to be another kill for the blue side, so the score is now 2-6. Meanwhile, though, Hecarim has ganked top, and that's going to be another kill going to Hecarim, so it looks like they just trade kills there. Misfortune and Tarek still pushing bot lane out. That tower is about to go down, and after that we'll see where the purple side bot lane goes. Once they get the tower, normally a lot of people like switching to another lane so that they can get more global gold. Farm now 82 to 57 for 82 to 57 for Hecarim, so he's gonna be quite a fan. Oh, sorry, I missed that. Looks like Nasus and Shen. Nasus is gonna go down to Hecarim and Shen. Meanwhile, Orianna is gonna get caught by the Tarek stun. She's gonna speed boost and flash out of that. She's gonna run into the purple side jungle, speed boosting herself again. Misfortune gonna flash right into the slow. I don't know where Orianna's going, not making up her mind. That's just gonna be an easy stun, and that's gonna be a kill going down to Misfortune. Yes, it is. So, 503 Hecarim, that is quite scary. Once Hecarim is fed, it's very hard to deal with him. 87 CS to 57 CS on Nasus, so Hecarim is actually very far ahead of the enemy Nasus. 302 Misfortune with 138 CS compared to 109 on the Ezreal, who does not even have his Bloodthirster completed, so Misfortune is ahead there. Shen with 133 CS, meanwhile Jax with 103, and Shen has those 5 assists. So it'll make him a bit stronger. And Xerath with 143 CS compared to Orianna's 124, so that's pretty even. Orianna does have that kill, 2 kills compared to Xerath's kill and assist, so they're rather even there. You know, mid lane tower has gone down for the blue side, so the towers are now 3-1 with all outer turrets going down for the blue side. Meanwhile, they've only gotten the mid tower for the purple side. And is everything okay? Yeah, it seems everything's fine. Score's 2-9. Tarek getting caught. He's just gonna flash over the wall. Nobody's gonna chase that. Looking for Misfortune now, but Misfortune's just gonna walk on out of that quite easily. Nasus is gonna walk around looking for the dive as Orianna is nearby. They're just gonna push this out. Oh, but the minions are rather far away, so Nasus will have to stay in that bush for a rather long time. And he realizes that, and he's just gonna walk away. Tarek warding that bush like smart man. But Nasus has already left. Dragon up in, I believe, a couple minutes, so I'm not too sure as I do not have the timer down. Hecarim running down bot lane. Sarah is gonna go there too. I think they're gonna go to the blue buff, which might be up soon, or is it? No, sorry, it's already been taken. I'm just gonna make sure that that bot lane does not get dived here. Shen meanwhile dueling Jax up in top lane. Shen does have that ult, so he will be able to come help the bot if if needed. Hecarim is gonna actually walk right into the entire blue team. Zera's gonna poke from long range. There's the Shen taunt onto Hecarim. They're just gonna dive right into the back, and Astis isn't gonna get out that Shen with the taunt, but it's not gonna hit, but it doesn't matter. Hecarim's gonna get the kill anyways. Now they're gonna go onto Orianna. Orianna doesn't have her flash up, so she's not gonna be able to get out though, and she does have her ult. Will she use it? Yes, she does, but it's just gonna knock them towards her. And then after Orianna is gonna go down. Ezreal trying to cleanse out of that, but Hecarim is just gonna stick right on him. And he's gonna back off, and that's gonna be a 3 for non-exchange for the purple side, as now they are gonna start pushing down onto this tower. Another ultimate going down from Ezreal onto the purple side, but as we see, Ezreal just does not do enough damage at the moment. So red buff being stolen by Shen, he's probably going to steal that and then head back. Ping's going out onto Dragon, they can do that. As blue side has all gone back, Nats is now walking. Nats now walking towards them as along with Ezreal and Soraka. I actually cannot see the Dragon, this is very, very strange, but I'm guessing they are doing it, so... and that's going to go down before blue side can even respawn. And that's going to walk up and see that his red buff has gone missing. Meanwhile, Jax did push down that top turret. Since Shen ulted away, he did have basically a free tower there, so that is going to even up the gold a bit. But the advantage is still on purple side with 33.7k gold to 26.5k gold, so a 7k gold lead for the purple side. Frozen Gauntlet built onto Hecarim, so he's going to be able to stick onto anyone. Misfortune now has the Bloodthirster and Phantom Dancer, so she's going to have quite a bit of damage compared to the other compared to enemy Ezreal. Tarek has Locket of the Iron Solari, so that's going to be a shield for his team that does give around over 100, pretty much 100 pulse for everyone. Tarek just walking right in there, not sure what he's doing, but he has Hecarim to help, and they could possibly fight this. Hecarim is very, very strong right now. But they're going to play safe back up. Shen with the Wit's End, so he's going to actually be dealing more damage than one would normally think that a Shen would do. Going to sacrifice some of that tankiness for that extra damage. And Xerath with that Haunting Guise, and looks like he's going to build his way to the Unholy Grail. Unholy Grail is sort of more of a laning item, but a bit late. That's also fine. Misfortune, meanwhile, actually just going to go down. Soraka just going to keep auto-attacking her. Shen, meanwhile, taunting up top lane. Misfortune will not be able to get Soraka. Meanwhile, Shen with that Wit's End is playing very aggressively onto that Jax. Jax has a lot of armor, but not a lot of magic resistance. So that Wit's End is going to do quite a bit of damage. Meanwhile, items for the blue side. Blue side. Sorry, before that, looks like Shen is actually going to taunt onto the Jax while he's being ganked by the Nasus. He does have that decent damage along with the red buff. Looks like he will be able to get a kill here, and Jax is going to flash out. And Shen is going to sort of miss his auto attack, but doesn't matter because here comes Hecarim. Hecarim's most certainly going to get a kill here. They seem to peel off of Shen to try to get Hecarim. Chances Hecarim's just going to ult out. And it looks like another free kill, even though that Shen was ganked in sort of a 1v3 and he makes it out alive. Shen actually going to go steal the blue buff. Kind of risky, but he does have his taunt, and he is going to taunt over the wall. And a pause actually coming out from... I have no idea. So a pause coming out. But it is resumed quite quickly. Items for the purple side, they do not really have any major items completed onto Jax. On Orianna, they only have the Unholy Grail and seems to be rushing the Rylai's. Not the best item choice on Orianna in my opinion, as Orianna has already tons of utility and does not really need more. Ezreal does have the Bloodthirster, but that's about it, and actually built the Spirit Stone. That's a bit strange. That's really only a jungler item, so I'm not quite sure why he's building that. Hecarim Look like he's trying to complete the randomness now. Gonna start the blue buff for his Xerath, I believe. They're just gonna clear the minions up and then is going to head to the blue buff. Yes. So score 2-13 now. Around 10k gold lead for in the purple side. Nasus did complete that locket of the Iron Solari, and not sure he's gonna rush now. Meanwhile, Hecarim gonna come in from behind. Can Ezreal get out of this one? He is gonna Essence Flux out of there. Hecarim is still chasing through that Iceborne Gauntlet. Now gonna turn on to Soraka now. Soraka looks like getting hit quite a lot. She does have Flash Shot. Meanwhile, Xerath now actually using his ult from quite long distance. Misfortune with the with bullet time. Hitting, but it's not going to hit a lot of people. They are going to fight in Soraka though. Jax is trying to fight, but it looks like he's not going to be able to get out of this one alive. He does have to leap, and he has actually going to leap onto Nasus, but it's not going to be enough as Misfortune is going to attack with the double up. And the auto attack. They are going to pick up 2 more. Target's going to go down. Oh, but what a taunt by Shen. It's going to catch up Ezreal, and he's going to have to flash it and cleanse out of that one. Orianna now trying to go onto Xerath. He is a bit out of position, which is not going to chase that, as 4 members of purple team are still up while only 2 of blue team are up, so that was a 3-for-1 exchange for the purple side. Oh, Misfortune with the flash now trying to dodge something. Kind of fails. Predicts the ult a bit too early and then just gets hit by the tower and then goes down. So a bit of a misplay by Misfortune there, but it's not matter. It doesn't matter that much as it's still a 10k gold lead for the purple side. 515 Misfortune, 906 Hecarim, 018 Tarek, 0011 Shen, and 323 Xerath. Xerath not participating a lot in these fights, which is quite surprising for somebody. Well, it's quite long range and air effect abilities. Ezreal built up the Spirit of the Elder Lizard. I've never seen that item built before on Ezreal, but clearly he thinks it's a good item. That true damage does apply on his Q, I believe, so he can apply that damage from a long range. Ezreal, they've caught Xerath now, but looks like Xerath is just gonna ult. Not trying to really run. They are gonna pick up Jax in the process. Ezreal now trying to get out of this. His Essence Flux is up, so he's just gonna go over the wall. Hecarim all gonna miss completely, but doesn't matter as Ezreal has really nowhere to go. They do have the ward, so they see where he's going. There's the Iceborne Gauntlet and the slow. He's gonna Essence Flux over the wall right into Tarek. Tarek is just gonna ult and shatter. But it's not gonna be enough. Shen meanwhile taunting. That's just as he went dead and Misfortune looks like she's gonna get the kill. Hecarim meanwhile still trying to go on to Ezreal. He's way too tanky for anyone to deal with. That's gonna be that. Blue purple side trying to take now the inner tower. Shen's gonna miss his taunt, but meanwhile Hecarim is gonna push out top lane. Well, if I'm now, Jack's gonna find him, but Hecarim is very, very fast and will not be caught out by anything. Shen doing double golems and Misfortune. They're all just staying inside blue side jungle. They do not have a lot of vision, so they do not really know where they are. They only know where Tarek is, and he is. He's not that much of a threat. Shen gonna go back now. He did pick up the Phage earlier, so even without red buff, he can get lots of slows along with the taunt. Will make him a very sticky person. Purple side is pinging out Dragon, so it looks like they're gonna start that up. Misfortune is gonna probably do that herself with her auto attack. Xerath isn't even gonna help. Nasus is trying to push out mid, desperate to make sure that their towers don't get pushed. Gonna try to farm out that Siphoning Strike. The Siphoning Strike is at 156, so doesn't have that much farm on it. But he's not really going for the farm. Jungle Nasus, as we know, does not get that much farm on his Q and is really there for his Wither until much later into the game. Even go down and farm the race. Now that Spirit of the Elder Lizard is proving to be useful, as the extra damage to the 2 minions is helping him clear that camp faster. You know, we have 3 people on the blue side just trying to clear out any push from the purple side. They do have Xerath, which does clear out minions rather quickly, so it's going to be quite hard. Xerath Q's nothing, and the minions aren't even close. Don't really know what he was doing there. Ezreal's gonna go back. What's he's gonna buy? He's picked up a recurve, but I don't really know what he's building. Meanwhile, Orianna seems to have got caught. She's gonna pick it. She's gonna take a bit of damage, but not a lot of follow-up. Misfortune does have that last whisper, so any armor built by the blue team is gonna be cut down by 40%. At least from Misfortune's attacks. Jill's picking up that chain vest, so I believe she is gonna go for that guardian angel and will be quite hard to kill. Jack's standing in the Wraith Camp looking to leap over and try to find someone, but everyone's staying too far away. I'm just going to start the Wraith Camp. It's automatically spawned. Sarah, ult now, it's full time, it's 4 people, same with Hecarim ult. And then Soraka and Nasus just instantly die. Shen now meanwhile going to ult Hecarim to get into the fight, and he is going to find the taunt onto Orianna. Orianna now desperately trying to get out. She is going to use the ult, but she's not going to make it out. Now Ezreal trying to get out. He's going to go down too, and now Jax is going to try to desperately trying to get out. He's trying to flash. He's going to go over the top side. He's going to leap to a minion, and can he get out? No, Hecarim is just going to be too fast. There's a taunt by Shen, and that's going to be an ace for the blue side. 49k gold to 36.8. Hecarim now just popped his ghost now. I believe the GGs are being called out, and there is a pause. And is the game over? I have no idea actually. They just paused the game and they've called GG's. I can't really tell if anyone's left or not, so I have no idea what's going on. I'll just wait it out here until we'll see what happens. But so purple side could go for an inhibitor here. I believe their mid lane does have minions. 10-second spawn timer on the closest person, which is Soraka and Nasus, and they won't be able to do much to stop the push. So purple team will be able to probably get an inhibitor off this, or they might just suddenly fall back and try to go for the Baron and get the inhibitor another day. If we look at the items now, Jax has finally completed his Hextech Gunblade. Hecarim has completed his Randuin's and his Negatron Cloak, so he is just becoming stronger and stronger. Nasus looks like he's going for the Aegis of the Legion, and then probably going to upgrade that in later to a Runic Bulwark. Ezreal building the recurve bow and the dagger makes me think he's going to go for the Runon's Hurricane, which is kind of an interesting item on Ezreal, as he does not really have any special things with auto attacks. Orianna does have that Rylai's completed, so she is going to have a tiny bit more utility, whether it's needed or not. Not a lot of damage though, as Orianna's base numbers are not that high, and her scaling isn't actually that high either. Meanwhile, Shen actually building up a Warden's Mill, probably going to build Randuin's of his own. You can never have really too much of that. Xerath has the Blasting Wand, makes me think he's probably going to go to a Death Cap of his own for that high amount of damage. And Misfortune with that Chain Vest Erase that she's probably going to go for that Guardian Angel. Or maybe she could even go for Randuin's, who knows, you could have a team full of Randuin's. It's actually a bit annoying. I highly doubt it though. And we have Tark with the Locket of the Iron Solari and the Ruby Sight Stone. So he will be putting down a lot of wards and giving a lot of defensive stats to his team. No Aegis being built for the purple side yet. Perhaps they don't think they need it, just really going to go for the aggressive items. Aegis is an item that's really useful against teams with quite a bit of magic damage, and as Jax and Orianna are pretty far behind, perhaps they think they won't need it until later. I'm gonna assume the game's over. Yeah, game was over. Okay, makes sense. So game one, kind of exciting. It was sort of a one-sided match, though. Blue side did hold on to that for quite a bit. Hecarim did get too strong though, and once Hecarim gets that far ahead, there's really no dealing with him. So I'm done commentating as my voice is dying, and also I have to go soon.